The fuck happened last night? What's up, guys? It's Meg, and it's that time of the week again where we get to talk about the best show on television, AMC's The Walking Dead. This show is going to be about episode 4 of season 4, and we're going to talk about all the gory details, so if you haven't seen this episode yet, you probably shouldn't watch this. Okay, so let's just get right into it. The one and only thing that we really have to talk about right now is Carol's departure from Rick at the end of the episode. What the hell happened? First off, a little review. In case for whatever reason you're watching this and you haven't seen the episode, I think you're crazy if you are, but let's just remember for a second what happened. The group, Daryl, Michonne, Tyrese, and Bob, are out on a run for antibiotics for the sick people back in the prison. There's a lot of chaos going on over there with them. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Rick and Carol decide to go out on a run for food because apparently they've lost all their food, which was in cell block D. Lord knows why they kept all of their food in cell block D and why they can't go back in and get it. But that being said, they still had to go out on a run for food. And it also looks like they're looking for medications and cough drops and all that stuff to kind of help the people while they're waiting for the actual antibiotics. So they're out there and a lot of stuff happens, and we can talk about that in a minute. But at the end of the episode, you can tell, okay, so before the end of the episode, you can tell that Rick doesn't really trust Carol. Their conversations are a little off. Rick clearly doesn't trust her, is upset by what she did. He doesn't believe she did the right thing. We know that. Carol even says, you know, you don't have to agree with me, you just have to accept it. And then, after they're done collecting all their stuff and they're gonna go get back in the car, Rick turns to Carol and starts talking about how Tyrese is going to kill her when he finds out, when he gets back, which we know that the only way Tyrese is going to find out is if Rick tells him, and apparently that's Rick saying, I'm going to tell him. I don't know what Rick's problem is. Secondly, he says that the rest of the group isn't going to agree with it and is going to want her out, which he doesn't know that. He's assuming. And then he says that if they don't come back, and it's just him and Judith and Carl and Carol, that he would not want Carol with him, which is fine. That's his personal opinion. However, then I'm just shocked at this point by Rick's attitude. Carol has been with the group since the very beginning of episode 1. What the hell? You're just gonna kick her out by herself? Send her on her way? She doesn't have any of her stuff with her. She has a little bit of food that they've just collected, and you know, some gasoline and a new car. What the hell? So then, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just very worked up. I'm sure a lot of you guys are really worked up as well. Let me try and control myself for a minute. So we see Rick make a decision for the entire group to kick Carol out. He did not talk to the council. This is just a decision for him. Carol even says, you know, I thought you weren't making decisions for the group anymore. And he says, this is for me. And then Carol literally pretty much just accepts that she has to leave, gets in the car, and drives off. We don't know where she's going. She doesn't really even put up a fight, which to me is just crazy. You are going to separate from the entire group and just go on your way and go fight for survival on your own. And it's just, I don't even have words for it, really. This is a terrible review, I'm sorry. I am still in so much shock. I love Carol, and all of us fans who have been waiting for Daryl and Carol to get together all of this time, what is going to happen? I'm really hoping that that is not the last thing we ever see of Carol, and we just never know what happens. Can you imagine if the writers did that to us? If we just never saw her again? And Daryl, when he gets back from the run that they're on, what is he gonna do? Personally, I think even if he's not romantically involved with Carol at this point, even if he's not even thinking of that, Carol is like family. He's always been close to Carol. And do you really think that he is just going to be okay with Rick kicking Carol out of the group and sending her out by herself? I really don't think so. You can see from Daryl, just the way he is, he's not like that. He's not one to kill, you know, without cause. He's not one to even fight. Look at what Bob did. He nearly got them killed. and he wouldn't drop the bag, and he's got alcohol. He nearly got them killed twice, and Daryl still gives him his alcohol back. And he doesn't beat him up like he probably should have. You can tell Daryl's character from all of his actions, you know, how he really is. And I don't think it's going to go over well when they get back and they find out what Rick has done. So I really want to know what you guys think about what happened. I know I've been looking on Twitter and there's so many different reactions. I know there's a lot of Rick fans that believe in absolutely anything that he does. And there's also a lot of Carol fans who have been with her since the beginning. And personally, I do believe that Rick made a wrong choice. He should have brought Carol back and consulted with the council and allowed everyone to make that decision together. I really believe that he's in the wrong here and that he's thinking, you know, more with his, I don't even know. I think that he's making a rash decision by sending her away, and it's not going to go over well. Please leave me a comment in the comments below about what you guys think, because I really want to know, and I'd love to talk with you more about it. I also want to now talk about the Daryl and Bob fight. It wasn't really a fight, but so they found the building with the antibiotics. They were able to get in and out fairly easily. They did have to break a window because they started to be surrounded. The walkers that were there were also had also died from that same disease that's going around. They were bleeding from their eyes. We see they jump out onto the roof, and Bob nearly drops his bag and is fighting for his bag, and Daryl realizes that in his bag is alcohol, not medications. And that scene, oh my gosh, all of us Daryl fans out there, I think we're breathing very heavily during this scene. He gets right up in Bob's face and just like, basically, and he does this because Bob, he goes to throw the alcohol, and Bob starts to draw his gun on Daryl for maybe getting rid of his alcohol. Unbelievable. I was so angry at that point. I really hoped that Daryl would just throw him off the roof. But we know that Daryl is not that kind of guy. Apparently he gives people lots of chances. But we heard a little bit of Bob's story in the beginning of the episode. He talks about how he almost kept walking, how he's seen two separate groups come to an end, and he's been the last one standing each time. That maybe says something. Seems a little shady there. And Daryl then tells him later in the episode, when he saves, you know, he saves his alcohol and hands him back his alcohol, he tells him that he should have kept walking, that he didn't want him in the group anymore, essentially, in so many words. And instead of getting rid of his alcohol, he literally hands it back to him and, of course, threatens the hell out of him, which, go Daryl. I would love to see him kick Bob's ass at this point. I can't even believe that. I just cannot believe Bob. His obsession with alcohol is pretty intense, apparently, that he would be willing to draw his gun on one of his own people just for them potentially throwing it out. And we see a lot of Tyrese in this episode too, and he is angry, and he really shouldn't have gone on this run because he's putting everyone else in danger. I think he just doesn't care anymore, apparently, and his actions really show it, and he's really putting them all in danger. You know, he wouldn't get out of the car. Luckily, the rest of the people didn't go back and save him. This was in the last episode. And, you know, and then he wouldn't let go of the walker when they're hacking down the ivy to get to the van. He's very angry at this point, and he's going to cause a lot of problems, I feel like. And you know, when they get back to the prison, I don't know. Hopefully Sasha doesn't die because Tyrese is just going to go ballistic. Okay guys, that's pretty much it for this episode. There were really just these two big main things that happened, and of course there's lots of little stuff going on, but we don't need to talk about that because these are the two storylines that we've got right now, and they are absolutely insane. I am so excited to see what the writers have to bring in the next couple episodes, and I am just crossing my fingers that that is not the last we ever see of Carol. I would absolutely love to see Daryl go after her. I think that's the right thing to do, and I really hope that Rick gets what's coming to him. him. Please don't hate me for saying that, all of you Rick fans out there, but I just really think he made a bad choice here. And yes, I know Carol made a bad choice too, but she has just been a core member of this group from the very beginning. So that's it. I would also like to point out that if you guys didn't see this, the gas station sign that has the prices for it used upside down letters to say to spell out the word hell. Did you guys see that? It took me a minute to realize it, but I saw it there, and I really am interested to see who else caught that. So please leave me messages in the comments below about your favorite part of the episode. What do you think about this whole thing? What do you think about Carol, Daryl, and Rick, and Tyrese, and all of this stuff? Let's talk about it. You can find me on Twitter at Meg_Stansfield. The link is in my About Me if you don't know how to spell my last name. And please subscribe, because I do this every week, and I would love to hear from you guys. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. I hope you guys have a great week. I will see you next Monday. Bye!